Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Payroll Today with Ahola. Today, we're going to discuss understanding Ohio's city tax regulations for employees under 18. My name is Oscar, and I will be the one to host the discussion today. I am the Learning and Development Department Manager for Ahola. I have probably been with Ahola for nearly 7 years, and I bring a total of 10 years of payroll experience. Please feel free to reach out to me by emailing omehia@ahola.com, first initial, last name at ahola.com, with any questions you may have regarding today's discussion. I will be happy to work with you and your dedicated payroll specialist to answer any questions you may have that's related to the system or our services. Before we begin, I'd like to remind you that we are not attorneys. This session is intended for educational and informational purposes only. We do hope that you find these presentations helpful and informative, but the information presented today should not in any way be construed as legal advice. As always, if you have questions about how this information may affect your business specifically, we recommend that you consult with your business advisor. For those of you who may not know a lot about Ahola, we are a family-owned payroll and HR service provider headquartered in Brecksville, Ohio, with 55 years of payroll, tax, and HR experience. We've served over 10,000 small businesses nationwide. Ahola offers a full range of payroll and HR services and software. Today, our staff of payroll, tax, and human resource professionals serve thousands of businesses by helping them with their human capital management needs. Here are the key topics we will cover today. First, we will define the new legislation related to employees under 18. Then we will decipher what the law means, as well as what employers are required to do with the younger staff members. Lastly, we will provide a general guideline when hiring employees under 18. We do understand that many family businesses will hire sons, daughters, nieces, and nephews, as well as seasonal companies hiring students during the summer months. We want to assist in making sure that we remain in compliance when adding younger workers to our staff. There was a significant change to Ohio law enacted in July of 2023 under House Bill 33. Effective with the tax year 2024, the income of all individuals under 18 years of age is exempt from municipal tax in all municipalities in Ohio. This means that an employee under 18 is not subject to paying any city taxes for any locality in Ohio. You no longer need to check each individual locality to see if the under age 18 exemption applies. This exemption now applies to city taxes for every locality in Ohio. Before we discuss how to implement this exemption for your employees under 18, we will examine the different categories of Ohio local taxes and how the under age 18 tax exemption applies to each category. So to understand what this law means, let's review what Ohio and local taxes are and how they affect us. There are 3 categories of Ohio local taxes. The first is Ohio City Work Tax. This obviously is the tax for the city in which the employee works. Employers are required to withhold city work tax for each city that an employee works in. Employees must have city work tax withheld unless they work in a non-taxing locality, such as a township. Employees under age 18 are exempt from Ohio City work tax. The second category is Ohio City residence tax. Employers are not required to withhold residence tax, but they may do so as a courtesy. Employees under 18 are exempt from Ohio City residence tax. Residence tax can be confusing until you understand it. Here's how it works. Residence tax is the tax due to the employee's resident city after subtracting any credit for city tax paid to the work city. The amount of tax due to the resident city depends on the city tax rate and the tax credit for the work city tax. The tax credit amount varies by city. Most cities allow a credit for tax paid to the employee's work city, so an employee may not owe the full normal percentage to their resident city. An employee may owe tax to their resident city if the tax rate for the resident city is higher than their work city, and or if the resident city does not allow full credit for the tax paid to the work city. Some employees may not owe any resident city tax at all. For example, if the employee's work city tax rate is 1.5% and the resident city tax rate is 1%, and the resident city allows 100% credit for the work city tax up to 1%, then this employee does not owe any resident city tax because they receive a full credit for their work tax. If you are an Ahola client, Ahola can accurately withhold the amount of residence tax due, and that's based on the appropriate work credit amount. Ahola can also remit and file Ohio City residence taxes as part of our tax service. This is a nice benefit for employees to have their residence tax withheld throughout the year, which can reduce or eliminate residence tax payments with their personal tax returns at the end of the year. Please contact your dedicated client partner if you are interested in setting up Ohio City residence tax for your employees. An important distinction about work tax versus residence tax is that when an employee works from their home, the city tax is considered work tax, not residence tax. Basically, the work tax is calculated first, then residence tax. The third category is Ohio School District tax, which is based on the school district in which the employee lives. School district tax generates revenue to support school districts. Not all Ohio school districts have a tax enacted, but many do. Employers are required to withhold school district income tax from compensation for any employee who resides in a taxing school district. This requirement is based on an employee's address of residence and applies even if the employer conducts no business or operations in that school district. Employees under 18 are not exempt from Ohio school district tax. Employers must withhold Ohio school district tax from all employees based on their school district. Please note, for Ahola clients, all employees who reside in Ohio should have an Ohio school district code on their tax screen, even if the school district does not have a tax. Many payroll systems, like iSolved, will present a drop-down list for users to select the correct city or school district for an employee based on the employee's address. For this reason, it is important to confirm that the correct city and school districts are selected for the employee. A great tool to use to verify Ohio local taxes for your employees is the Finder on the Ohio Department of Taxation website. City work and city residence taxes can be verified in the Municipal Tax Finder. School district taxes can be verified in the School District Income Tax Finder. You simply enter the employee's work address or resident address into the finder and the correct taxing jurisdiction will be displayed. This is especially helpful for addresses that are on the border of two localities or for addresses that may have a mailing address outside of the actual physical locality, which is very common in Ohio for small localities. Ahola clients will have their employees' Ohio local taxes verified as standard implementation procedures as well as during normal employee maintenance for clients that send their maintenance to Ahola. Clients that enter their own maintenance should use the finder to verify the correct taxing localities for their employees. Ahola clients can find the link to the tax finder page in iSolved within the client landing page. Now that we understand the differences between the Ohio local tax types and how to verify your employees' taxing localities, the next step is to implement the under age 18 exemption for your employees. Start by reviewing your employee records. Update the tax records for employees under 18 to code them as exempt from Ohio City work and city residence taxes. Remember, the under age 18 exemption does not apply to Ohio school district taxes. Also, look at the employees who are age 18 and over to make sure that they do not have that under age 18 tax exemption. For Ahola clients, there are some notes to remember. Never block Ohio City work or residence taxes on the employee's tax screen or in the time entry. This can cause discrepancies between wages and taxes on your city tax returns and can result in tax notices. To code an employee under age 18 as exempt from city taxes, you should enter the tax exemption status type of city W/H and in parentheses or under 18. However, if you have an employee under age 18 that already has another tax exemption on their tax screen, then please contact your dedicated client partner and they will be able to set the city work and or the residence tax exemptions for you using a different method. Finally, it is important to note that you must remember to monitor and follow up when any employee turns age 18 to remove that tax exemption. The exemption will not automatically be removed in the system based on the employee's birth date. For Ahola clients that send their employee maintenance to Ahola for processing, contact your dedicated client partner if you need any tax updates for your employees. Now, here are some guidelines for hiring individuals under 18. Overall, the rules vary by age and tasks. Some state child labor laws are inconsistent with the federal child labor provisions of the Fair Labor Standards Act. In most states, a work permit is necessary for anyone under the age of 18 to become legally employed. The purpose of this document is to ensure that the minor is not underage and is physically fit to work. For the state of Ohio, it requires that employers display child labor law posters and keep a list of minors employed at all establishments. So, in general, minors must be paid at least state minimum wage. The wages must be agreed upon before employees' first day of work. All employers must keep a record for 2 years that contain the following information for each employee under 18 that they bring in. And it is listed here: their name, their address, and their job, the number of hours worked each day, the time they began and ended the workday, any recorded meals and breaks, and their wages that are paid each pay period. Now, if you're wishing to or trying to hire a minor that is 14 to 15 years old, these employees can only work outside of school hours. So there are some restrictions for employees within this age group, and they are listed here. So more than 3 hours on a school day, including Friday, more than 18 hours per week when a school is in session, more than 8 hours per day when school is not in session. Employees may not work more than 40 hours per week when school is not in session. And then there are specific times of the day, except from June 1st through Labor Day, when nighttime work hours are extended to 9 p.m. So during the summer months, there are specific times where employees within this age group can work. There are some exceptions or regulation if these employees are also homeschooled or attend a private school. And that is also listed. Now, employees within this age group can work outside of school hours in a variety of non-manufacturing and non-hazardous jobs. So what's listed here are types of jobs that these employees are allowed to work at, and it includes the following. I won't read from the entire list, but certain things are most retail occupations: cashiering, selling, price marking, packing and shelving, cleanup and yard work, which does not include using power-driven mowers, cutters, trimmers, edgers, or similar equipment, loading or unloading objects for use at a work site, including rakes, handheld clippers, and shovels. 14 and 15-year-olds who meet certain requirements can perform limited tasks in sawmills and wood shops. And if an occupation is not specifically permitted, it is prohibited for youth ages 14 and 15. Now, allowed work for minors 16 and 17. So employers can employ 16 and 17-year-olds for any job for unlimited hours, unless it has been deemed particularly hazardous for that employee. And of course, a work permit is required. So in these occupations, a minor who is 16 or 17 may be employed as an apprentice or a student learner. An apprentice is defined as someone who is employed in a recognized apprenticeable trade whose work is incidental to training. So the work is intermittent, short, and under close journeyman supervision, and whose work is registered or executed under a written agreement about those standards. Minors can work under specific jobs if they are considered a student learner. And a student learner is defined as someone who is enrolled in an authorized, cooperative, vocational training program with a written agreement, whose work is incidental to that training. The work is intermittent, short, under close supervision. And those employers who offer safety instructions from a school or employer, and who follows a schedule of organized and progressive work. If a minor employee is not considered an apprentice or a student learner, then a lot of these types of employment could be prohibited to all minors. So the only exception to this list is if they are considered an apprentice or a student learner. So some of these positions can include maritime or longshoreman jobs, working around a railroad, working in or around plants or establishments for manufacturing, especially storing hazardous material or explosives, working in involving radioactive substances, wrecking, demolition, shipbreaking operations, operating heavy machinery and various power tools, roofing operations, or excavating operations. Now, there's a lot going on with what you can do when hiring an employee under 18, the types of jobs that minors are prohibited to work in. So please do not just take my word for it. Please refer to the Department of Labor and or your certified HR professional for more details. Of course, here are just a few of the many resources that you can tap into. So the Department of Labor website is www.dol.gov. You can also access the Ohio Department of Commerce, and the website is listed here. As we discussed earlier, finding residence, work location tax, and even school district tax. You can access that by going to the Ohio Tax Finder site. So this one is referring to the school district tax. The website is listed here. Of course, refer to your certified HR professional. And there's also a specific website called youthrules.gov. We do have a standing curriculum and a schedule for upcoming webinars. So if you can, please visit www.ahola.com to register or access any previous webinars that we've held. I'd like to thank everyone for joining on today's session. If you have any questions about our services or anything that has been discussed, please feel free to reach out to me, Oscar, by emailing omahia@ahola.com. We hope that this session was informative, as our intent is to keep you aware of the changes and trends that happen in the payroll space. Again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to speaking with you all very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.